All right, so this is going to be kind of the highlights of Unit 5, Lesson 14 and 15. We're going to just do a little review about the distributive property. So if I wanted you to simplify the expressions using the distributive property, I think you guys are all pretty good with this. 3 times the quantity 2x plus 5 and 4 times the quantity x plus 1 would give you 6x plus 15 and 4x plus 4. The second question asks you to factor out the greatest common factor of each expression. So think of it as kind of undistributing. So the first one, you have the greatest common factor of 8x and 4 is 4. So you pull out the 4 and you're left with 2x plus 1. You have to have that 1 there. You can't just pull out the 4 and leave nothing there, right? Because when you distribute, you need it to be, the answer needs to be 8x plus 4 once you distribute that. The next one, the greatest common factor between 3x and 12 would be 3. Sure enough, you pull out the 3 and you're left with x plus 4. Another way of thinking about the first one here, I just want to show you, is basically 8x is 4 times 2x and 4 is 4 times 1. So if you pull out that common factor of 4, you're left with 2x plus 1. And this type of thing is going to come into play, or has come into play, in the lessons 14 and 15. So I'm going to go to the 14.2. The first question is, you need to pay 8% tax on a car that costs $12,000. What will you end up paying in total? Show your reasoning. So one way to think of this is take your original $12,000 plus you have to pay 8% on that $12,000. So 12,000 times, change your 8% to a decimal, which is 800ths. And you guys can put this in your calculator and get the answer. The 12,000 is the original amount, and when I multiply that 12,000 times the 8%, I'll get the tax I have to pay. The other way of doing it, I typed the way you started it on option 1. And if you think of it kind of take 12,000 times 1 plus 12,000 times the 8%, you pull out the 12,000 and you're left with 1 plus 800ths. So you can just make it 12,000 times 1 and 800ths. So it saves you a step. It's just a multiplication problem rather than take 12,000, multiply the 12 and the 800ths, and then add them together. You can do this in one step. So talking about burritos, they're on sale for 30% off. Your favorite burrito is normally $8.50. So how much does it cost now? Using option 1, you take the $8.50, you multiply the $8.50 times the 30% off, and subtract that amount, and you get your answer. The other way is kind of making it more of a one step. So 850 times 1 minus 850 times 30 hundredths. Then you get 850 times the quantity 1 minus 30 hundredths. Notice you pulled out, like you undistributed that 850. And when it's simplified, it's just $8.50 times 70 hundredths. Question 3, I'm going to let you try on your own. And now we're going to go into the table. So you have a description and a question, then they want expression 1, they want expression 2 to be multiplication only. So the one night stay at a hotel in Anaheim, California costs $160 and you have to pay 15% tax. So what's going to be your total cost? So this is how you would do expression 1. And I showed how you could factor out the 160 here and how then you're left with 1 plus 15 hundredths. So this right here more or less shows you how you get to expression 2. Right? So this is expression 1, what I'm showing here, and then the second step gets you to expression 2. And the same thing here, when teachers receive a 30% discount at a museum, adult tickets are $24. How much would a teacher pay for admission? So $24 minus the 30% discount on the $24, right? That would be expression 1, which is the same as like factoring out the 24 And then 1 minus 30 hundredths gives you the 70 hundredths. So it just becomes 24 times 70 hundredths. So I'm going to let you do the next three on your own. I think they're pretty much the same thing. What I really want to go over is this last one. So this can be just a little more challenging. 2 years ago, the number of students in a school was 150. Last year, the student population increased by 8%. This year, oops, it didn't have a space there, and increased about 8% again. What is the number of students this year? So this is year one, right? This is doing it the expression one way. Oops. So I got those backwards. So this would be, so for year two, you have to take all of what you have for year one, or yeah, at the end of year one, right? That's what this is, plus all of the population at the end of year one times the 8% growth. So here's the population after year one. Here's the population after year one times the 8% growth. So now we're going to kind of factor out what each has in common. The highlighted is what they have in common. So you take out the 150 plus the 150 times 8 hundredths. When I factor it out of this, the first expression, I'm left with 1. When I factor it out the second expression, I'm left with 8 hundredths. So then I have 150 plus 150 times 8 hundredths plus 1 plus the 8 hundredths. And when I take all that into consideration and factor out the 150 again, hopefully this is going to show up. There it goes. Oops. Let me go back again. So this gets 150 times the 1 and 8 hundredths after the first year times another 1 and 8 hundredths after the second year. So this becomes expression 2. All right, that's it. You might have a few more questions, but hopefully this helped you with a couple things. Have a great day.